Good morning, and thank you for joining me today. Your City Council has just returned from spending the weekend and the beginning portion of this week at the Congressional Cities Conference sponsored by the National League of Cities in our nation's capital. This is where we do our best federal work. Joining 19,000 cities, towns, villages, and over 2,800 mayors and city council members and city staff from across the country, and hearing directly from federal officials about current and upcoming funding opportunities available to the city of Savannah. The Congressional Cities Conference gives us direct access to cabinet secretaries, to key program administrators, to help us get direct answers to some very direct questions. And also recognizing the 2-year anniversary of the historic bipartisan American Rescue Plan Act, we also recognize that local leaders know what their communities need best. And locally, we can best address our local challenges, which may be different than other cities and other states, and different from other cities in the same state. As many of you have known, I've served in the leadership of the National League of Cities for several years, serving on the board of directors for 4 years, serving as the chair of the advisory committee and as chairman of the Human Development Committee, and also serving as vice chairman of both the Human Development Committee and the Energy, Environment and Natural Resources Committee, which are federal advisory committees. This year, I'm honored to serve as a co-chair of the Center of Leadership, Education, Advancement, and Development, LEAD, formerly known as the Institute of Youth, Education, and Families. And in this role, I lead elected officials from across the country in placing the well-being, safety, and health of children, youth, and their families at the center of governance. But it means that not only is Savannah at the table doing this work, that we're also leading this work nationally. Yesterday afternoon, we celebrated the culmination of what has been known as Phase 1 of the Broughton Streetscape project with a ribbon-cutting ceremony. We were just glad to have it. It was a long time coming, and so we were glad to finally do it. This was a big project. This was a hard project. This was a difficult project that was wrought with a variety of issues, both internal to us and external to us. We had highs and lows along the way, but we stuck with it. And I think the storyline here is that in spite of all, we made it, and it is beautiful, and we received nothing but rave reviews. And we expect that once the landscaping is fully installed, again, that we will continue to have a beautiful product for people to continue to enjoy. I want to certainly thank not only the council, the previous council also, but also our city employees and city departments that worked very diligently with the contractors, the businesses who endured during this, our visitors, our residents, and who were patient with us as we went through this. And of course, to our contractor, which this was not easy for them either. We now have, though, a space that residents and visitors can enjoy entertainment and take little breaks before patronizing, between patronizing the many great businesses that continue to grow on Broughton Street. And so we hope that this will make our overall downtown experience better. We know that downtowns across the country have been suffering. I will tell you, Broughton Street is thriving, and this improvement will continue to help it to thrive. As you know, the City of Savannah is accepting applications for the naming of the square formerly known as Calhoun Square, located between Abercorn Street and East Wayne Street until May 15th at 11:59 p.m. The naming process will follow the city ordinance, Article E, which is naming and renaming of public property, facilities, and streets. This, as you know, this square was named after statesman and politician John C. Calhoun of South Carolina. Despite an accomplished career, including as serving as Vice President and Secretary of War, Calhoun was a staunch defender and champion on the institution of slavery. And so after receiving public comment, the Savannah City Council determined that his legacy and what he stood for and what he represented and what he advocated for did not reflect Savannah's values. And on November the 10th, 2022, the Savannah City Council voted to remove the name of John C. Calhoun from that square and engage in a public process to name the square. It's not rename the square. This square at this point has no name. And so we have determined that property names shall serve to inspire our citizens, to reflect on individuals of outstanding character, values, and achievements in Savannah's history. The removal of Calhoun's name from the square offers a unique opportunity to provide a more inclusive historical narrative in meeting these goals. We will not, although we remove the name of Calhoun from the square, we don't remove the legacy of John C. Calhoun, and it is our intention to ensure that the appropriate interpretive markers are there to talk about why the square was named after Calhoun and why we had to remove the name of Calhoun. We're not trying to erase history, we're trying to expand it. We're trying to be more inclusive, and we're trying to explain it better. So we're looking forward to doing that. So I've received a lot of people on my Facebook page and social media telling me what it should be named. That is not the way to do it. It is not the way. We have a website you can go to, and all the instructions are there. If you put it on my Facebook page, it's not going to receive the consideration. It has to go through the public process, and we will do that. April is National Child Abuse Prevention Month, and the Coastal Children's Advocacy Center is raising awareness in our community through a blue pinwheel and ribbon campaign. So the campaign will begin on Saturday, April the 1st, in Forsyth Park, where the community is invited to help CCAC to tie blue ribbons around the park's trees. The Coastal Children Advocacy Center will also have a booth in the Forsyth Farmers Market that day, where supporters can donate in exchange for pinwheels and ribbons to display at their homes and or businesses. I'm encouraging our community to get involved and support this impactful organization for the impactful work that they do. So I want to send a big shout out to our awesome Park and Tree Department and our Human Resources Department for this awesome job fair that they had on Tuesday night, which was very well attended. Again, you can become a part of Team Savannah, and we would love for you to do so. And so if anyone's interested in a career with Park and Tree or interested in a career with Team Savannah, you go to savannahga.gov/cityjobs. savannahga.gov/cityjobs. And I guarantee you, the greatest city in the world has the greatest employees in the world, and you will work with some of the best of the best. Registration is now open for folks interested in being a volunteer or an exhibitor at 2023 Earth Day Savannah Celebration. And this year's event will occur on Friday, April the 21st in Daffin Park from 4 to 8 p.m. To learn more, visit earthdaysavannah.org, earthdaysavannah.org. In other news, the city's Human Services Department will hold a community resources and benefits fair on Saturday, April the 15th. And residents can come and they can complete their taxes for free. They can apply or renew SNAP and Medicaid benefits. They can receive health screenings, and they can apply for the City of Savannah's Home Repair Assistance Program. And so residents can attend the Pennsylvania Avenue Resource Center, also known as Park, from 9 a.m. to noon or the Moses Jackson Center from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. So that's on April the 15th from 9 a.m. to noon at a park on Pennsylvania Avenue, or from 11 to 2 at the Moses Jackson Center. Numerous partner organizations will provide on-site services, including the Savannah Center for Blind and Low Vision, the Neighborhood Improvement Association, Georgia Power, Family Promise, Goodwill, and more. And Comcast will also sponsor a computer giveaway at both locations. For more information, you can contact the Human Services Department at 912-651-6520, 912-651-6520. And finally, I met with our friends at Georgia Power this week, and I learned that across the state, more than 200,000 Georgia Power customers with collectible debt balances have been identified as prospective recipients of assistance funding through the Georgia Power's collaboration with the Georgia Department of Community Affairs. So about 200,000 people at this point are leaving help on the table, and that cannot happen here in Savannah. So this customer demographic resides in 294 zip codes across Georgia, where the household income ranges from 30 to 50 and 80% of the area median income. Nearly 11,000 of the total households are in Chatham County, represented by $2.8 million in potentially eligible collectible debt. This cannot happen. This cannot happen. So the reality is that there's help out there for nearly 11,000 households in this community. $2.8 million of expenses can be addressed or helped, and we're leaving this on the table. And so Georgia Power's Energy Assistance Team has reached out to customers via text message, emails, live phone calls, postcards, social media, automated phone calls to promote more awareness, and it's just not happening. So I'm asking, and I'm not eligible. I wish that I was, but I'm not. If you are a renter behind on your utility bill, specifically your Georgia Power bill, you may be eligible for free financial assistance through this collaborative effort. Help is available for you. Funding is available through tomorrow and will be distributed on a first-come, first-served basis to Georgia Power customers who qualify. So what I've asked them to do, and they have done this, tomorrow, Georgia Power will be hosting an event at the Savannah Civic Center from 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. to answer questions and to help customers complete the application. So from tomorrow, from 9 to 2, Georgia Power and your city are working together to make sure that you get the help and the assistance that you need and you deserve. So to qualify, you must be a Georgia Power customer. You must reside in one of the 294 specified zip codes across the state. You must rent your home. You must rent your home. And you must have a balance billed on your Georgia Power account. So you must be a Georgia Power customer. You must reside in one of the 294 zip codes. You must rent your home, and you must have a balance on your Georgia Power account. And these are the documents you need. You need income documentation waiver, a copy of your lease, a Georgia Power bill statement, proof of identity, a driver's license or ID card, and a hardship form, which is provided by the DCA. So, so bring your lease, bring your Georgia Power bill statement, bring your proof of identity. The other two forms, the Department of Community Affairs has. And although we want you to apply quickly and in person, it is not required. You can also secure your funding by applying online at georgiapower.com/help-pay. georgiapower.com/help-pay. Georgia Power's Energy Assistance Care Team is also available to provide an application assistance and support at 833-472-3200. 833-472-3200. So please, ma'am, and please, sirs, as they say it in the church, if you're eligible for the assistance, don't let this opportunity pass you by. It is here, it is available. They have reached out in as many ways as they possibly can. So now I am imploring our residents that might have the ability to be blessed by this assistance to do so. So please go ahead and get help. Get the help you need. And I'm going to ask our media partners to help us push that. So that ends my prepared remarks, and I can answer any questions you may have.
Good morning. So this week, big week for Savannah at the State House. The hotel motel tax was passed through. This is something that you had been pushing for years. What do you think changed? Why do you think it got passed this year?
Well, again, very grateful to our delegation. I believe it passed unanimously. And Monday, this is something we've been doing now for probably over 4 years. It was about stick-to-itiveness. And it was about relationship building and continue to build relationships. And so that required hours and hours of diplomacy from myself, from Team Savannah, our city manager and team, talking about why this is important. Building relationships with hoteliers, addressing their concerns, and making sure that they realize that this is for public benefit. There is a very specific provision of tourism-related product, and so therefore it can only be used for things that are important to us. And the reality is that although we had even city council members who were against it, the fact of the matter was this was for the benefit of our entire community. River Street is the crown jewel of our downtown. It's probably our most visited address, and the fact is that particularly now with Plant Riverside and with Eastern Wharf is really showing her age. And, you know, we want to be able to improve that. We want to improve that experience. We now have enough experience about what would really work there. I really would love to start seeing more public bathrooms in that space. And so this gives us a chance to be able to do that. Tied to town, which is extremely important for our connectivity as it relates to mobility and inclusion, important to us. The Waterworks building, which will help us to continue to build out the arena district, again, important. So it'll just, you stick with it. Delayed does not mean denied. And so, although I'm excited about what has occurred, I'm certainly grateful to each member of our delegation who've worked to make this happen. The governor still has to sign it. And so 40 days from the end of signing day, hopefully at some point he'll sign it and we'll get to work on helping make this happen.
You also mentioned Phase 1 of the Broughton Street completion yesterday. What's ahead for Phase 2 for anyone that might not know, and what impacts can Broughton Street see as we go into Phase 2?
Well, I think that initially, particularly as it related to what occurred during Phase 1, I don't think we really anticipated, although we should have, that once you start digging, you start finding stuff. And you find that you have infrastructure and pipes that are older than what they were. I'm not sure that we really have the stomach for Phase 2. That being said, you have businesses there that say, well, we don't want it. Well, okay, well then maybe we won't have it. But now you have a product that is different than those your neighbors a couple of blocks from you. I think we've learned some lessons. And I know that the work wouldn't be as intensive, but I think we just have to take a long, heavy breath and then kind of assess where we are with it.
So it's happening, just not in the immediate future.
I don't know. I mean, I think you just have to reassess where we are with this. Again, my concern is that now you have a street that has unequal infrastructure, so to speak. You have new pipes and infrastructure on one end and older ones on the other end. Sometimes can spell problems. I think we just have to take a deep breath, be glad that we got through this, and then we'll, talk with talk with our businesses, and kind of see, how we work this out. And then I think the other part is that this was complicated by COVID as well. I mean, this is complicated by COVID. It was complicated by we trying to find ways of helping to mitigate these issues. It's probably going to cost us more money. We stopped for a whole month because businesses wanted us to be able to stop. We had supply chain challenges, so it was just a bunch of different things that hopefully, we're past. So we'll see. Stay tuned.
Top of mind, do you know what the final cost of phase 1 was for the city?
I don't. I believe it was a little over $20 million for the total project. We're probably somewhere in the early teens of what phase 1 was. We'll probably run over. I mean, I'm almost sure that we will, just because issues like pavers, the pavers we wanted weren't in, so we had to get a temporary paver. So, 13.3. So I was right, early teens. Thanks, Nick. I'm sure we'll run over, but it's still within the scope of the project. So, we'll have the city manager calculate that, and if we have to, approve it, we'll approve it. It's done.
So just to clarify, following up on feedback from business owners on Broughton Street, there could be potential then in the future to kind of engage with them and see if there's a majority of them that want to move forward with that phase 2?
Well, I think it's a variety of things. Now we're talking about most of Broughton Street is done. So you're really talking about a much smaller percentage at a much less populated side of Broughton Street. I mean, I think we just have to have those conversations. I think we just have to be very clear and direct in hearing from them. Be very intentional about what it is. The reality is, okay, well, if you don't want us to do it, then understand that now you don't have the benefit that everybody else is enjoying. There was certainly pain with this. We recognize that. But on the other end of it, here is, I would say, pleasure for many, many years to come from a beautiful streetscape that people are enjoying. And if you just walk, I mean, the streets are filled with people. So I think we just have to determine, working with them, what all of that means, how we could do it in a way and maybe at a time that is less intrusive. And again, I think that, we forget that the X factor here was COVID. It just changed the way everything was going on. And, whenever we dig and we find something, we have to address it. I remember a couple of weeks ago, I got called on Saturday, we found bones right at Broughton and Bull Street. And, GBI determined them to be animal bones, but the fact was it stopped the work. And the truth is about Savannah is that people are probably buried all over the city as the city has been built out over the years. And so we have to address each situation differently and in accordance with the law as it relates to that. So it's a lot to consider. And if it's something that, they're saying they absolutely don't want, or the team is determined that, we don't need to move forward with, then we'll figure something else out. Mm-hmm. You got to have something. No. Yes. Okay. All right. Well, so certainly a beautiful week in the greatest city on earth. And again, we're entering into much better weather. We're entering into the holiest times on some of our calendars, particularly Ramadan for our Muslim neighbors, Passover for our Jewish neighbors, and Easter for our Christian neighbors. So, hopefully this is a time of continued peace and goodwill. Certainly opportunity for reflection, and for us to be able to work together, draw closer together. So look forward to that time, look forward to that experience. So keep being Savannah strong. Have a great one.